Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into the invisible world of forces, all those pushes and pulls that are happening around us constantly, every single second. And we're going to kick things off with a question I'm pretty sure you've asked yourself before. Seriously, think about it. You're putting your whole back into it, giving it a huge shove, but the thing just won't budge. Or maybe you get it moving, but it feels like the floor is actively fighting you the entire way. So what's really going on there?
Well, believe it or not, this simple, everyday struggle isn't just you versus a heavy box. Oh no, it's actually a full-on battle between different competing forces. You've got your push, for sure, but there's also a force from the floor, pushing back, and another force from the floor holding the whole thing up. Today, we're going to break down exactly what these forces are. Okay, first things first, what even is a force? Well, let's get the official definition on the table. In physics, a force is simply a push or a pull on an object. That's it. It's the thing that can make an object speed up, slow down, change direction, or even change its shape. Now, it turns out that every single push and pull in the entire universe can be sorted into two big families. Think of them as the two main branches on the family tree of forces. So on one side, you have contact forces, and these are exactly what they sound like, forces that happen only when objects are physically touching, like your hand pushing a book or your foot kicking a football. And on the other side, we've got non-contact forces. These guys are the magicians of the force world. They can act from a distance, like a magnet pulling in a nail, without ever touching it. And for this explainer, we're going to zoom way in on that first family, the contact forces. These are the forces you literally feel every single day of your life. All right, so let's meet our first type of contact force. This is one you know really, really well because, well, you're using it right now. It's the force that's generated by your own body. We call this muscular force. It's the push or pull that comes from the action of our muscles contracting. Every time you lift your backpack, kick a ball, pull open a door, or even just breathe, yep, that's muscular force at work. It's basically the engine that powers everything we do. And of course, it's not just for us humans. Animals, like these powerful oxen, use their incredible muscular force to do all sorts of heavy work, like pulling this cart. It's a fundamental force for just about every living thing that moves. Okay, so muscular force is the push you bring to the party. But remember our box problem? What about that mysterious force that seems to be pushing back at you? Let's meet our second and honestly more interesting contact force. Think about this for a second. You roll a ball across the floor. It goes for a little while, and then it starts to slow down, and eventually it just stops. But why? Why doesn't it just keep rolling forever? What invisible force is grabbing onto it and slowing it down? Well, that force has a name: friction. And here is the single most important thing to remember about friction. It is a force that always works to oppose motion between two surfaces that are touching. It's the reason that ball stopped, and it's the exact same force that was fighting you when you tried to push that heavy box. So we know friction is there. We can feel it slowing things down. But where does it actually come from? And why does it sometimes feel so much harder to start pushing something than it is to keep it sliding? What's the secret? Okay, check this out. If you could zoom in with a super-powered microscope on any two surfaces, even things that feel totally smooth like glass, you would see this. They're actually covered in tiny microscopic hills and valleys. And friction? It's basically caused when the tiny bumps on one surface get caught and interlock with the bumps on the other surface. It makes perfect sense, right? A rough surface, like sandpaper, has really big hills and valleys. They interlock a ton, which creates high friction. A smooth surface, like ice, has much smaller bumps, meaning way less interlocking and, you guessed it, low friction. But it's not just about roughness. Friction also depends on how hard those surfaces are being pressed together. That force is called the normal force. It's the support force that pushes back from a surface. The harder you press down, the more those little irregularities get jammed together, and the stronger the friction becomes. Now, because friction always seems to be slowing us down, it's really easy to think of it as, well, the bad guy, the force that just gets in our way. But the truth is way more interesting than that. Sometimes friction is our absolute best friend, and other times it's a total pain. Let's start with friction as a friend. I mean, without it, you couldn't even walk. You'd just be slipping and sliding all over the place. The grip on your shoes creates friction with the ground, allowing you to push off. You couldn't write because a pen needs friction to leave ink on the paper. You couldn't light a match.
and even nails and screws only work because of friction holding them in place. It is absolutely essential to our world. But yeah, friction definitely has a dark side. It's the reason the soles of your shoes eventually wear out. In engines and machines, it causes parts to grind against each other, leading to wear and tear. It also produces a lot of heat, which is usually just wasted energy.
So let's bring it all back home. We've met muscular force, our own personal push and pull. We've met frictional force, the world's natural resistance. And we've even talked about the normal force that holds things up. How do all three of these work together in that original scenario with the box?
Let's look at our friend pushing the box one more time. Now we can see the whole picture. They are applying muscular force, pushing the box forward. At the same time, the floor is applying frictional force, pushing backward, resisting the motion. And while gravity is pulling the box down, the floor is pushing straight up with the normal force, making sure it doesn't fall right through. See? It's a complete system of forces, all in perfect balance, or not. And here's the key takeaway. For that box to actually move, your muscular force has to be stronger than friction's grip. More specifically, you have to push hard enough to overcome what's called static friction. That's the super strong grip that keeps things from moving in the first place. Once you get it sliding, you're only fighting this slightly weaker kinetic friction. And that's exactly why that first shove is always the hardest.
And there you have it, a peek into the world of contact forces. They are the invisible mechanics behind almost everything you do. So here's a little challenge for you. As you go about the rest of your day, just look around. Where can you spot that constant battle between a push, the resistance of friction, and the support of the normal force playing out, right in front of your eyes?